everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This one's not gonna feature Cusco, and he's obviously a little distraught. This is my weekly obligatory heads up warning. I still have birds. They're still loud, but I'm over it. Y'all came here for animals, and that's what you're gonna get. So I said today was gonna be a bird video, not about Cusco. That obviously went super well. Whatever, it's fine. So today I actually wanted to talk about Indy. His nickname, his real name is actually Inigo Montoya, which we will get into. I've posted a bunch about him over on my Instagram, and I've mentioned him on here a couple of times. I think I've showed him like once or twice, but I've kept him pretty much on the down low. He's very unsocialized, so he's not used to people, he's not used to me, so I don't like overwhelming him with too much. So for the last couple of months that I've had him, I've literally just been hanging out, letting him do his thing, letting him learn how to be a bird. So let's talk about Indy. Indy is a Pacific parrotlet. They're commonly mistaken for budgies because they're small and brightly colored, but they come from completely different parts of the world. Budgies are from Australia and parrotlets are from South America. Cusco's regurgitating on my bed right now. Indy is about 10 years old, we're not really sure. He's not banded and he was a rescue. Way back in October, I got a message from a friend who works in a vet clinic about 2 hours from here. And basically what had happened with Indy is Indy and his partner, Sasha, had been brought into her clinic to be euthanized. I'm not gonna go into the ethics of euthanasia beyond health reasons. Obviously, I disagree with it. I don't ever believe that euthanasia, other than for illness, is appropriate. And I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to every rule, but it's truly something that I struggle to validate, I guess. Indy and Sasha were brought in to be euthanized by their family. I don't want to go into too much about their family situation or why they felt like that was the option, but essentially what it was, they didn't know that there was an alternative to euthanasia. So my friend Mackenzie, who is a tech over at this clinic, talked them into surrendering, and right in the parking lot, Indy was in a finch cage. It was, you know, the kind of cage was marketed towards finches, but nothing should really ever live in. It was tiny. He was essentially living in a shoebox. He had one perch. He had one little rope toy that he sleeps in. He has a lot of separation anxiety around that toy, like he needs it with him. And that was it. There was nothing else in his cage. He was on entirely seed. He had water, obviously, but he was also kept fully covered. He was really shy. He hadn't been handled, and their way of kind of dealing with that was just to keep him covered, because every time they uncovered him, he would get stressed out because he was being exposed to new things, and rather than like try to understand that that was just him working through socialization, they just didn't address it and they kept him covered. He was like that for about 10 years. So not a good situation. Pretty much everything you don't want to do for a bird. And again, it wasn't malicious intent. They weren't out to make his life miserable. His partner Sasha was super tame, obviously very well loved. Indy just wasn't as open as Sasha, and because of that, never really got the opportunity to become tame and learn to be part of a family. They had nowhere at the clinic to keep these birds long term. So my friend Shelby and I drove down very late at night in a very thick rainstorm and picked up Sasha and Indy. Indy's name at the time was Baby. Normally I agree with keeping animals' names, but it was a dumb name and also didn't suit him at all. And also I thought he deserved a fresh start. Picked these guys up. I'll insert some photos. We did have them in travel carriers. We just stopped for some food on the way back. So we let Sasha out for a minute because she was super social. After about a week, I kind of came to the decision that it would be best to rehome them separately. Sasha has zero interest in other birds. She's very much a person bird, and she saw the others pretty much as competition for my attention. So she went to my cousin. A couple days after I picked them up, I brought them to my local avian vet, who did a very thorough exam on Indy, and we noticed when he drinks or when he tries to eat or like climb, he has a really hard time gripping things with his beak. I thought maybe his lower beak looked a little bit overgrown, but once we got the actual exam, what it turned out to be was malnutrition. So he has some very severe joint laxity, so loose tendons, possibly poorly formed joints. We didn't do an x-ray. He's not in great shape, especially for 10 years old. During the exam, he actually dislocated his wing because his joints are so loose. And the sad part was that he knew himself how to relocate it, and he put his own wing back into place, which means that it's been happening for a while because he knew exactly how to shimmy. And like even my vet was pretty surprised by that. He was like, this is an animal that's been dealing with this for a really long time. So that was kind of heartbreaking. But the story does have a happy ending. Indy has been here since the fall, and he's doing really well. I started out trying to handle him a little bit, and it was just really, really stressful for him. He didn't know what toys were. He'd never been around other birds. He never had like daylight. So I decided that all of those things combined with his health issues were enough that I wanted to give him a lot more time to settle in before I really started working with him. So I kind of put a hold on that, and he's just been learning how to be a bird. So he's flocked up with my budgies. He really, really loves Nala and Chip. Chip especially. That's them right now, actually. I've touched him on the cheek once. He let me do it. He wasn't stoked about it, but he did let me do it. And then that was kind of where we stopped. So today I'm just gonna go into the aviary, see where he's at, see what he wants to do. Before I head into this, I would really like to say that you don't ever feel like euthanasia is the only option for your animal. There's always a choice. You can surrender, you can rehome, you can find a rescue, and if you can't do those things yourself, just call your vet and tell them it's an emergency and that you can't look after this animal anymore. It just kind of breaks my heart that people, for whatever reason, feel like that was the only choice, because he's a really sweet little dude, and no animal should have to pay the cost for your lack of research or your lack of education on the species that you chose to bring into your home. Yeah. On that note, let's go look at Indy. Alright, so Indy's definitely a little rusty, a little bit nervous, so I ended up just bringing Nala in. Who's one of my budgies. They're all mid-molt right now, so if you're wondering where half her tail is, it's on the floor of the aviary somewhere. So sometimes when you are trying to socialize birds or train them, having a second bird who already kind of knows the ropes is helpful because they like to mimic each other. So in a little turn of events, he actually decided to come out of the aviary, and this is really only about the third time that he's made that choice. So he's just kind of flying back and forth with the budgies right now. So I just left the little bit of training that we did as is, and I'm letting him socialize with the budgies a bit, because this is a really big deal for him. So hopefully he enjoys. Here's all my little beans just hanging out. Nala's falling asleep on my mirror, Indy's way up there on my window, and Chip just chilling. I put Cusco in the aviary because he was being a little bugger. They're all off their routine right now. We had a couple issues with their sleep room, and I had to redo everybody's sleeping situation. So because of that, the routine has been messed up. So Cusco is hormonal again, which I'm doing everything I can to address. But it's been a time. All right, so Nala just went in, which means these two will likely follow. Unless Chip doesn't want to go. Oh, no, he's gonna go. We'll see if Indy goes. Sorry the lighting is so weird. It's another gray stormy day because apparently those are the only days I film on. I'm trying. You gonna come, Indy? He might need some encouragement. So he just flew over to my other window. He's not really sure what to do. The others kind of know how to go in and out, but he doesn't. So he's just kind of going back and forth here trying to figure stuff out. So I'm gonna leave the door open so that he can go back in on his own. I definitely just realized I completely forgot to outro this, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with how Indy's little bit of socialization time today went. He's definitely regressed a little bit since I worked with him last, but I think that's fair. Part of rehabbing birds is knowing how often they need to be worked with and kind of making that commitment. And he's definitely had some time off to socialize and to learn how to be a bird. But I think in exchange, he has definitely become, the little bit of tolerance that he did have for me is definitely not there anymore. But I'm pretty confident that I can get it back quick. It's often quicker. It's often quicker the second time around because at least now he knows what I'm asking him and he knows that nothing like awful is gonna happen. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.